Are you going to bathe today? Are you going to use soap, shampoo, hot water? Then thank God you're not living in 1665. Because in London that year, people bathed twice in their lives, when they were born and when they died. And between those two baths, they stank so much that rats followed them through the streets. But the smell was the least of their problems. In September 1675, 7 out of every 10 people you knew would be dead within 3 months. Dead from a disease that turned your body into a biological bomb, making your armpits and groin explode into black tumors the size of eggs, killing you by spitting blood while your skin rotted away while you were still alive. 100,000 dead. Thousands to 3 of London. And do you know what the treatment was? Rub dead pigeons on your body, drink virgin urine, sit on a toilet, thinking the stench would ward off the disease. Do you think you could survive? Do you think you're stronger than your ancestors? So let me show you exactly what it was like to wake up in London on September 7, 1665. The day 1,000 people died in 24 hours. And even with all our modern technology, the same thing could happen to you tomorrow in your city. So let's start at exactly 5 Gauss AM on September 7, 1665, the deadliest day of the Great Plague of London. You wake up, but not with an alarm clock, not with the sun streaming through the window. You wake up with something crawling on your face. Rats, 3, 4, maybe 5 rats, scurrying around your bed, searching for scraps of food among the sheets that haven't been washed in 3 months. You don't even feel scared anymore. It's normal, part of the routine. It's dark, completely dark. There's no electric light. Candles are too expensive. So you try to get up in complete darkness, stepping on something soft and warm. Feces. Your own feces from the chamber pot that overflowed during the night. The bucket is next to the bed because there's no bathroom. Your entire family, 6 people, use the same bucket, the same room, the same poisoned air. The smell, my God, the smell isn't just bad. It's a physical assault. Sweat accumulated over months. Fermented urine, fresh feces, dried vomit in the corner and beneath everything. That sweet, sickening odor you still don't recognize. It's the smell of death. Your younger sister, lying in the corner, has had the plague for 2 days now. The buboes on her neck burst during the night. Black pus runs down her dress. You're thirsty, desperately thirsty. But the water is a death sentence. It comes straight from the River Thames, where they dump corpses, waste, and industrial waste. It tastes of metal and death, but you drink it anyway because the alternative is dehydration. Every sip is Russian roulette. Typhus, dysentery, cholera. What disease will you catch today? Breakfast, if you can call it that, is bread, but not the bread you know. This one has green mold stains, maggots moving inside, and it's made with flour mixed with sawdust to make it last longer. You eat it, thankful because there was none yesterday. The butter has been rancid for weeks, the milk sour and curdled, but you force it down because you need the energy. You wear the same clothes from yesterday and the day before and last month. Doing laundry is a rich man's luxury. Your clothes are stiff with dirt, soaked in sweat, and you feel something moving in the seams. Lice, hundreds of them. But they're not just lice, they're fleas. Fleas infected with Yersinia pestis. Each bite is a potential death sentence. Your mother coughs in the corner. Coughing blood. It started yesterday. You know what it means, but you pretend you don't. In 72 hours, she'll be dead. Your father already has a fever. Your brothers shiver, even in the sweltering September heat. You're the only one still healthy for now, because while you were sleeping, a flea jumped from the dead rat under your bed, landed on your leg and bit you, but you didn't even feel it. In 7 days, you'll be in a mass grave with 200 other bodies, nameless, coffinless, with no one to mourn you. Welcome to London. 1665, population 500,000, dead by Christmas 100,000, and the day is just beginning. Now you need to get out. Get out to work, to buy food, to survive. You open the door and reality hits you. London isn't a city. It's an open-air slaughterhouse masquerading as a capital. Jesus Christ Street, the street. There are no sidewalks in most neighborhoods. It's mud mixed with human waste, horse urine, blood from slaughtered animals, garbage rotting for weeks. Every step you take, this disgusting paste splashes onto your legs. And in the middle of this toxic soup, children play, pigs root, dogs fight over pieces of rotting meat. But look up. The houses are built one on top of the other, like a deck of cards about to collapse. The upper floors jut out over the street, almost touching. Sunlight is non-existent. Even at noon, the streets are dark as caves. and from every window at any moment someone shouts, "Water!" and empties the chamber pot into the street. You quickly learn to walk looking up. Every 10 meters, a new scene of horror. There, a cart of dead people passing by, bodies stacked like cordwood, arms and legs dangling out. The gravedigger shouts, "Bring out your dead!" as if selling fish. There, a house marked with a giant red X, an entire family in forced quarantine. You hear the screams from inside, begging for water, for food, for death. The Chipside Market. You need to buy food, but it's like entering the epicenter of hell. Thousands of people crammed into a space the size of a city block. The sugarcane cutting black flesh from flies. Flies land on the meat, then in your mouth. The fishmonger selling fish with eyes white with rot, fresh from the Thames. He lies. You know the fish has been dead for a week, but it's that or starve. And the rats? My God, the rats. They don't hide. They roam in broad daylight in packs of 20, 30, fat enormous, fed on centuries of human waste. For every person in London, there are 10 rats, 5 million rats, and each rat carries an average of 5 fleas. 25 million infected fleas. The water. You're thirsty, but public fountains are battlefields. People kill each other for a bucket of dirty water. And what water? The Thames isn't a river, it's a liquid sewer. Tanneries dump blood and guts. Dye plants dump chemicals. Hospitals discard amputated limbs. And from this same water you drink, you cook, you live the air, you breathe, and you taste death. It's not an exaggeration, the air has a taste. I taste of sulfur from candle factories, ammonia from evaporating urine, rotting flesh from meatpacking plants, fermenting shit. Doctors believe it's miasma, bad air, that causes the plague. They're wrong, but the air really does kill. It kills in other ways. 500,000 people in an area designed for 100,000, with no sewage, no clean water, no garbage collection, no hygiene, no hope. London in 1665 isn't a city. It's a biological bomb and it's about to explode inside you. Now I'm going to show you exactly how you're going to die. Hour by hour, symptom by symptom. Because the plague doesn't just kill you, it dismantles you. Day 1. The bite happened while you were sleeping, or when you leaned against a wall, or when you picked up that loaf of bread at the market. A tiny flea, smaller than a sesame seed. You didn't even feel it. Just a little itch you scratched absent-mindedly. At that very moment, 60,000 Erkinia pestis bacteria have entered your bloodstream. You've just been sentenced to death, but you don't know it yet. Day 2, you wake up tired. It must be the hard work, you think. A headache starts, your muscles ache. It's like the flu, you imagine. You sweat a little more than usual, drinking Thames water to feel better. Bad idea. The bacteria are multiplying from 60,000 to 6 million. Your lymph nodes are being invaded. Day 3. The fever explodes. Your body shakes so much the bed shakes. You vomit. First food, then yellow bile, then green bile, then blood. And then you feel a lump in your groin, another in your neck, another in your armpit. Hard as rocks. You squeeze it, and the pain is so intense you pass out. Day 4, the buboes. That's why they call it bubonic plague. Those lumps are now the size of chicken eggs. The skin is stretched to its maximum, purple, black, and looks like it might burst at any moment. And it does. When it bursts, the pus that oozes isn't white, it's black, smelling like rotting flesh. The smell is so strong that your family flees the room. You're alone now. Day 5, the delirium begins. You see demons dancing on the walls, hear the voices of dead relatives scream for water, but your tongue is so swollen you can't speak. Your skin begins to necrotize. Black spots appear on your fingers, nose, and ears. It's your body rotting while you're still alive. Gangrene, your fingers will fall off soon. Day 6, 2 paths now. 70% die here, drowning in their own blood. Your lungs fill with fluid. You writhe and spray blood everywhere. On the walls, on your clothes, on anyone still brave enough to come near. Your eyes turn red from burst blood vessels. You're literally dissolving from the inside. Or worse, you're one of the 30% who survive, but how do you survive? Gangrenous fingers fall off, a nose rots and falls off, ears necrotic. Blind in one or both eyes, deformed, scarred, a monster everyone avoids. Many kill themselves after surviving. They prefer death to life as a freak. Day 7. If you're still alive, you're in final agony. Convulsions so violent they break your own bones. Screams so loud they wake the entire neighborhood. Until in silence your body is thrown onto a cart, with no wake, no coffin, no name. Just one more among 1,000 who died today. And worst of all, your entire family is already infected. Within a week, they'll all be dead. Or maybe not. Maybe you call the doctor. A terrible decision, because what doctors did in 1665 wasn't medicine, it was paid torture. First, the diagnosis. The plague doctor arrives. And what a figure. A leather mask shaped like a bird's beak, stuffed with 55 purifying herbs, red glass goggles, a waxed leather cape from head to toe, a stick to touch the patient without getting too close. It looks like death itself. And in a way it is. He examines your urine, smells it, tastes it, yes, tastes it, your urine full of blood and pus. He declares your humors are unbalanced. Too much hot blood. The solution bleeds, always bleeds. He cuts your veins with a blade he used on 20 patients today without cleaning. He lets you bleed in a basin until you pass out, to release the evil vapors. He explains. You were already weak, now you're dying faster. Congratulations, you paid to hasten your death. But wait, there's more. He scrapes the buboes with a hot spoon. The black pus bursts. The pain is so intense you bite your tongue until it bleeds. Good sign, he says. The poison is coming out, lie. He just spread the infection throughout your body. The medicine. My God, the medicine. Baby unicorn horn, which is actually ground rhino horn. It costs a year's salary. It does nothing. Liquid mercury to drink, literally poison. It kills you before the plague. Mummy powder. Yes, stolen Egyptian mummies ground up and sold as medicine. You're eating dried human corpses. But the worst treatment. Live pigeons cut in half and rubbed into the still warm buboes. Live frogs tied to your groin to suck out the poison. Live chickens, their ears pressed against the tumors. All this while you scream in pain and disgust. If you're a woman, even worse. They believe sex cures the plague. Doctors prescribe medicinal rape. It needs to release the poisonous female fluids, they say. How many women have died not from the plague, but from the brutal treatment of children, buried up to their necks in hot horse dung? The heat expels the disease, they assure. The child dies suffocated, cooked alive in its own fever and shit, and when nothing works, they blame you. Sinner. The plague is divine punishment. They call the priest exorcism. Holy water mixed with bishop's urine, flagellation with a whip with metal spikes. You're beaten until your skin comes off, until your bones show. Each blow expels a demon. The hospital is worse than dying at home. Beds shared with 3 or 4 patients, or with different diseases. You go in with the plague, leave with plague, typhus, dysentery, and syphilis. If you leave, the barber surgeons, because barber and surgeon were the same profession, amputate gangrenous limbs without anesthesia. 4 men hold you down while they saw off your arm. The survival rate is 2%, not from the plague, but from the amputation. And the price, everything, your home, your savings, your dignity. You pay a fortune to be tortured to death. And when you die, the doctor charges your family for the treatment. If they don't pay, they leave your body to rot at home until they do. The brutal truth. The only ones who survived were those who fled from the doctors in hiding, who preferred to die in peace rather than be tortured by quacks in bird masks. But dying in peace didn't exist in 1665, because when the plague arrived, civilization died before people. Imagine your street now, your neighbors, people you greet every day. Now imagine half of them dead in a week. That's what happened on every block in London. And when that happens, human beings become beasts. The first sign of collapse, children, abandoned in the streets by the thousands. Parents dead or worse, parents who fled and left their children to die. Babies crying in empty houses until their voices fade. Children as young as 5 and 6, begging for food, for water, for someone. No one helps. Helping means becoming infected. The house is marked the red X. When someone in the family showed symptoms, the entire house was sealed for 40 days. Armed guards at the door, no one leaves, no one enters. Food thrown out the window once a day, if they did. Entire families trapped with the dead rotting in the living room, eating at the same table as the corpse, sleeping beside it. You hear the screams from inside these houses. Mothers begging to save at least the healthy children. Impossible, the law is clear. One sick person, everyone is trapped. How many died not of plague, but of hunger, thirst, madness, locked in with their dead, the rich? They all fled. In June, when the plague began to spread, crowded carriages rushed to the countryside. Doctors, priests, nobles, merchants abandoned London, leaving 500,000 poor people to die. May God protect them, they said. And they went to their country houses to drink wine, the streets at night, curfew at 9. But it's not the silence that frightens, it's the sounds. The bell ringing incessantly, announcing more deaths. The carts creaking with the weight of bodies and the collector's cry, "Bring out your dead! Bring out your dead!" as if they were garbage. The mass graves in Outgate, holes the size of swimming pools, dumped bodies haphazardly. Men, women, children all mixed together, without coffins, without shrouds, naked. A layer of lime, a layer of earth, more bodies, more lime. When the grave filled, they dug another and another and another. The living fought with the dead. Looters broke into the homes of dead families. Sometimes the entire family hadn't even died yet. They stole while the owners lay dying in their rooms. Clothes, food, money, everything was valid. The law, what law? The police were dead or on the run. September was the worst. 1,000 deaths a day, 1,000. The churches stopped holding individual funerals. There weren't enough priests, not enough grave diggers, not enough land. Bodies rotting in the streets because the carts couldn't handle it. Dogs eating the dead. Then the dogs died. Also of the plague, the black market of death. They sold fake health certificates to escape the city. Plague amulets for absurd prices, spoiled food for 20 times the normal price, and worst of all, they sold clothes of those killed by the plague, spreading more infection. But all this death was just a rehearsal. Because now I'm going to show you why the same thing, or worse, is about to happen again to you in your city. And this time it won't take months, it will take days. Do you think we're safe? That modern medicine protects us? Let me shatter that illusion right now. Bubonic plague still exists now at this moment. Madagascar 2024, 300 cases. Peru 2023, 40 deaths. The United States averages 7 cases per year. Per year, the bacteria never went away. It's waiting, but here's the real horror. Antibiotics are stopping working. The plague hierarchy is developing resistance. In Madagascar, resistant strains have already been identified. If we don't have a fully resistant strain, it's back to 1665. With no cure, no treatment, just death and transmission. In 1665, the plague traveled at the speed of a horse. Today, it's the speed of a plane. London to New York in 7 hours. An infected person at Hyderabad airport can infect 5 continents before the first symptom appears. In 72 hours, a global pandemic, population density. London had 500,000 people and 100,000 died. São Paulo has 12 million. New York, 8 million. Tokyo, 37 million. Do the math. It's not thousands of deaths, it's millions, tens of millions. Climate change is bringing the fleas back. Higher temperatures, shorter winters, rat populations exploding in cities. Paris saw a 600% increase in rat infestation. 600%. Each rat is a walking biological bomb, but it's not just bubonic plague or resistant tuberculosis. Returning, deadlier than ever, hospital superbugs killing 500,000 a year. And this is now in normal times. Imagine when the healthcare system collapses. COVID-19 was the test, and we failed. We failed miserably. Hospitals overwhelmed with a disease with a 2% mortality rate. The plague had a 70% mortality rate. 70. Ventilators ran out, doctors died. Society nearly collapsed. And what have we learned? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Bioterrorism, that's the icing on the cake. The plague is classified as a biological weapon. Category A, Category A. Do you know how many laboratories in the world have samples? Hundreds. Do you know how many have adequate security? Guess what? Conditions are perfect. Cities overcrowded. Healthcare systems at their limit. Antibiotics failing. Science denialism growing. Climate change accelerating. Yes, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And when it arrives, it will be worse than 1665. Because they didn't know what was killing them. We know, and yet we're doing nothing. So let me show you exactly what will happen to you. Not to humanity, not to statistics. To you in the next 72 hours of a new plague, hour 0. The news appears in your feed. A mysterious illness kills 15 in a São Paulo hospital. You scroll, not even reading the whole article. After all, there's always a new disease somewhere. You keep seeing kitten videos. Hour 12, your WhatsApp starts popping up. Did you see? They say it's contagious. My cousin works at the hospital and said there are 80 deaths, not 15, you laugh. Fake news, they always exaggerate. You go to sleep peacefully. Hour 24, you wake up to sirens, lots of sirens. The news shows lines at hospitals. The health minister assures you everything is under control, but you notice he's sweating profusely. You think about going to the grocery store, stocking up on a few things. Then you decide. After work, hour 36, the grocery store is at war. Empty shelves, people fighting over hand sanitizer, a woman crying because she couldn't find blood pressure medication. You manage to grab a few cans of food and water. The cashier is wearing a mask and gloves. Precaution, he says. His eyes say something else, fear. Hour 48, your company sends everyone home. Schools closed. Public transportation suspended. You're on the last crowded subway. Someone cheers. Everyone moves away. Someone screams. He's sick, panic, people shove each other. A child is trampled. You run away. You arrive home trembling. Hour 60. The internet goes down. It comes back. It goes down again. When it comes back, the news is apocalyptic. 10,000 dead. No, 50,000. No, 100,000. No one knows for sure. Videos of people dying in the street. Hospitals abandoned. Doctors fleeing. The government declares a state of siege. Curfew. Anyone who leaves home will be arrested or killed. Hour 72. You feel the fever starting, the dry cough, the taste of metal in your mouth. You know what it is. You try calling 911. The signal is busy, always busy. You look at your family. Your mother is already rooting for her. Your son burning with fever. You're all going to die. And there's nothing, absolutely nothing you can do. You know the worst. You were warned by me. Now today, but you're going to leave here and forget. You're going to go back to your normal life. You're going to continue thinking that disasters only happen to other people until the day they don't. The Londoners of 1665 thought so too. Plague is a thing for poor towns. This is London, capital of the empire. We have the best doctors. 100,000 deaths later, they discovered that viruses don't respect social status. The question isn't whether you're prepared. You're not. No one is. The question is, when the next plague knocks on your door, will you at least know what's happening? Or will you die in ignorance like your ancestors in 1665? Because one thing is certain, history always repeats itself. And next time there will be no second warning. You've been warned. I showed you exactly how London turned into hell on earth, how 100,000 people died in agony, how civilization crumbled in a matter of weeks, and most importantly, I showed you it will happen again. Do you think you're different? That you're smarter than the people of 1665? They thought so too. They'd survived other plagues, knew the signs, and still died by the thousands. Why? Because knowledge without action is slow suicide. Now you know the plague still exists. Do you know antibiotics are failing? Do you know our cities are biological bombs waiting to explode? And what will you do with this information? Probably nothing. You'll close this video, go back to your normal life and forget everything until the day you no longer have time. But if you're one of the few who truly understood the message, if you realized it's not a matter of if, but of when, then remember these words. The only difference between living and dying in the next plague will be preparation, not panic. Preparation. Share this video now, not tomorrow, now. Every person you warn could be a life saved when the chaos begins. Subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications. Historical knowledge isn't entertainment, it's survival. Comment 1665. If you understand that the past is the mirror of the future, I need to know how many truly understood the warning. In the next video, the 5 cities that will collapse first when the next pandemic arrives. Yours is on the list. If you live in a big city, you need to watch. London had a warning. The first cases appeared in December 1664. Small outbreaks in poor neighborhoods. They ignored it. They said it was normal. 6 months later, mountains of corpses. Don't make the same mistake. The Great Plague of London killed 1/3 of the population, turned the capital of the empire into a morgue, destroyed families, economies, hopes, all because they ignored the obvious signs. You just received your warning. What you do with it determines whether you'll be a victim or a survivor when history repeats itself. Because in 1665 they had an excuse. They didn't know about bacteria. They didn't understand contagion. They didn't have information. You do, you know, you were warned. And when the next plague comes, when your city becomes London in 1665, you'll remember this moment. The moment you could have prepared, but chose not to believe. The choice is yours. Time is running out.